I'm Veruca Cyn, and I'm a fashion designer. Why I chose to do fashion design is a very visual way to communicate a thought or a feeling. So I find that clothing is a way for me to portray a piece of art. Veruca Cyn's constantly ever changing and ever growing, and always represents very different things. I would say it's the type of brand image that really walks on the fence and the fine line and never exactly coming to a conclusion or an answer to give to the audience. As I'm designing my collections and developing my brand, it's almost like I'm kind of learning about life and the world around me. I find that like sometimes I take maybe bits and pieces, and sometimes I pick up on some of the information I'm taught, but mostly I just kind of go with it. Because I have this kind of curious nature, I've started to expand that into my visions with my projects. I've made 2 collections so far, and I started Veruca Cyn in 2009. That was when I was still in college, and I didn't personally feel like I fully developed my brand to the way it should be until maybe a year or 2 into actually initially starting it. When they first see something designed by me, how do I want them to feel, and what it is I want them to think about? So I came up with the collection Personal Identity, and it was one of the ones where I felt I most related to, as obviously I was developing my brand. At the same time, I still am finding myself. I think we all do throughout our journey in life. My goal is to make you wonder, and my goal is to make you feel awkward, and to stop and really ask yourself for a second if how you feel about something consciously or subconsciously. My second collection is more so about something that maybe your mind can conjure up. I wanted to bring magic and things that may seem a little extravagant to everyday life with my designs, and it was my way of exploring and demonstrating that I can create things that were a bit more elegant and maybe not so streetwear influenced. I guess it would be touching upon high-end fashion, where I'm using nicer fabrics like lace and silks and experimenting with those different types of mediums and portraying it with very elaborate atmospheres. The photo shoot or the collection actually takes place in a mansion, and I wanted to approach my collection with influences of Alice in Wonderland from a more abstract and surreal meets reality kind of way. Fashion culture in Toronto, a lot of people seem to perceive Toronto and Canada as a fashion breeding ground, not necessarily a fashion capital, but more like the incubator for where fashion develops and where fashion is experimented. And for Canada to still have, in a sense, a very clean slate, it could go anywhere, and to have that advantage that we are the ones that people come here to start something new or to experiment something. Anything can go, and I think that is the advantage I'm playing with by being in Canada instead of anywhere else in the world. I find creating clothing is like a visual way of communicating. So by using clothing as a way for people to wear and express themselves and constantly send this message, I feel that is the most effective, and that is why I chose fashion and clothing design.